guys, welcome to my channel Vinyl Beauty, or welcome back. I'm Debbie if you don't know me. So I'm really excited for today's video because I picked up the entire Colourpop and Alice in Wonderland collection. This really spoke to me. I'm a big Alice fan. I'm going to talk about that a bit in the video coming up. But I just thought the collection was so well done and I just couldn't decide what to get, so I got it all. And in this video, it's not going to be your typical review. There won't be swatches, anything like that. But don't go, because it's going to be fun. When have you ever known me to do your typical review if you've been here before? That's not what I'm all about. I'm about getting a bit creative and having fun with makeup and perhaps inspiring you a little bit to do the same. So in this video, we're going to use as many of the products as possible because I'm going to do two looks. One of them is going to be Curiouser and Curiouser, a very strange and interesting kind of look. And the second one's going to be a bit more normal and wearable, but I'm aiming to use as many of the products on my face and eyes as possible in this video. So if that sounds good to you, then why don't we hop straight into the video? Okay, as I say, I picked up everything. I'll show you some of it up close. Some of the things to me are part of the collection and they're nice to have, but not going to be using them as such in this video. But I picked up the lip mask. The packaging is just so beautiful for all of this. So I will be using that, but it's not makeup, so I'm not using it in the video. I've also got the Oh My Fur My Whiskers clock hairbrush. I will show you that in detail close up. So this is it. It's super cute. For a collector like me, I really wanted this. So it opens up. I'm sure you guys have seen it. There's been lots of reviews on this, but you've got a mirror and then you've got a usable brush in there that you can pop back in. So really excited for that. And we've got the Topsy Turvy lip kit, which is the Alice lip kit with the Most Curious lipstick and Total Nonsense Luxe lip gloss in here. So that's the gloss. I'm not a big gloss girl. You probably noticed that if you've been to my channel before. So I don't know if I'll be using that. Might be one of the only things I don't use will be the glosses. That's the packaging for the lipstick. I'm having trouble figuring out what shade this is because I've seen people's videos and it looks pink, but to me this looks orangey. So we're going to try that one first in the first look anyway. We've also got the Queen of Hearts lip duo. And this one's got My Ways lipstick and Croquet Queen Luxe lip gloss. The gloss for this one looks interesting actually. I'd probably wear that one alone, but I'm not keen on layering glosses over lipsticks really because they just travel into all my many crevices and lines, so it's not a good look, but it does look a super interesting gloss though. And that's the packaging for the lipstick for that one. Super pretty as always from Colourpop. This one's beautiful because it's that true red. I'm all about red lipsticks, so I'm really excited for that one. And then we have the blushes. This is the Oh Dear blush, which is the Alice one. That's the packaging with the keyhole in the front. And the artwork on this is super cute with her floating around in the bottle there. This one I'm slightly concerned if I'm going to be able to wear it. I'm like Casper the Ghost in terms of complexion, but it still looks super light I think. So whether that's going to work, but again we'll find out. And then we've got this blush in Silence. Gorgeous artwork again. They kill it with the packaging. This is what attracts me to all of the Colourpop collabs that they do with Disney. So well done. But the shade for Silence looks so beautiful. I'm all about a red blush. And then we've got the shadow sticks, and look at the packaging on those. They're just stunning. I love it when they do the sort of cutouts of characters as part of the packaging like this. So this one's in the shade Full of Wonder, and you're going to see all of these used on my eyes later, but it's a iridescent sort of pinky blue white, really pretty. And we've got this one with the hatter on it, and that's the packaging for that one. This one's called Care for Tea. And then my personal favourite of the bunch is this one, which is Not All There with the Cheshire Cat on it. Gorgeous. And that's the packaging for that. These are all metallic shadow sticks, so it'll be interesting to see how they work. And then last but least we have the palette, which probably looks like it's quite large there, but I'll show you a size comparison in a moment. It's the tiniest little thing, but it's so cute, so beautiful. You've got all the shade names on the back and the Cheshire Cat look there, and yeah, it's really nicely done. So that's the palette itself, and then it opens like a book there, and that's the shades, and it's such an interesting colour story. And then the packaging on the other side is lovely as well. It's kind of all like a little bit raised and iridescent. There's no mirror. But yeah, really nice. For size comparison, it's exactly the same size as the Nightmare Before Christmas palette. So super dinky and small. Obviously this one's got square pans, and The Nightmare Before Christmas had round pans, but other than that, exactly the same size. So that's all the products. So before we jump into the look, I just want to explain a little bit about what Alice means to me. As I said, this isn't going to be a typical video. So I've loved Alice in Wonderland since I was a child. I did see the Disney movie when I was a child. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I prefer, I think, the Tim Burton movies with Johnny Depp, and I've got those as well. And I've got some things to show you from the past before we dive into this video that are all to do with either makeup or the movies, that explains why this is such an exciting release for me. So I have the Blu-ray of the original Alice movie with Johnny Depp, and some of you might remember that Urban Decay did a palette around that. And if you've watched my recent video going through all of my eyeshadow palettes of the past, you will have seen this already, but I'm just going to hold it up so you can see. The colours weren't that popping or exciting in this palette, but you did have a little primer potion in a potion bottle, so it definitely fitted the theme. And yeah, I loved this at the time. I've also got the Alice Through the Looking Glass movie. And as a tie-in with that, Urban Decay again did another palette which I also own, which if you've been here before, you know this is one of my prized possessions. I love this. The palette comes out with this one, a bit more brighter shades, but there's a lot of neutrals in there as well. I think they could have got a lot brighter and more exciting with these palettes, but yeah, so happy to own them. And then I own one other palette that's Alice themed, and this is the We're All Mad Here by Peachy Queen. This is fabulous, this is. I love like the Cheshire Cat image on the front of this one. It's just so kind of creepy and spooky. I love it. And that was the colour story of that one, which I think did the movies a lot more justice. And it's beautiful, great formula in this one as well. What I kind of wish makeup companies would do, and I'm looking at you, Game Beauty, is if you could ever make a palette based on this. So this is the Xbox 360 game of Alice, the American McGee's Alice. It's like a gothic kind of almost horror version. It came out about 20 years ago. If you've got an Xbox 360, you can buy this and you can get the download to the original game. This is the Returns one. But these were just such good games. I'm not really a gamer, but honestly, playing this was just so good. And the sort of horror aspect to it would make a brilliant Halloween palette for a gaming brand. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that as well. So as you can see, I'm pretty obsessed with Alice. So I wanted to do something a little bit strange, a little bit unusual. We're all a bit mad here. So I'm going to be doing a look based on the Cheshire Cat. And I'm going to really go for it in this one. So we're going to take the inspiration from this packaging and we're going to use one of the shadow sticks and the palette to create something a little bit different. So without further ado, going to scooch you in and we'll get started. So for this look, we're going to start with the Oh Dear blush, which was the pinky one, and see just how well this does show up on my face before we start on the eye look. I'm using a really dense brush to pack it on. Actually, it shows up a lot better than I thought. Maybe I have got a light enough skin tone for it. It's not going to show up on many people, I can definitely tell you that. But it's actually looking pretty on me, I think. Now, as this is going to be a whimsical look, I'm taking it to an extreme. It's going right around like my temples, almost going to like bring the eye look into this blush. And actually I really like that. I didn't expect to like it. I only got it because it was part of the set. If I was just buying products on their own, I don't know if I'd have picked it up. It's beautiful. For highlight today, I'm going to go in with the Space Age Prophecy highlight by Kaleidos in the shade Gifted, because I want something really, as I say, whimsical and unusual. And I haven't used this for quite a long time. But it's very colour shifting, very, very pretty. So I'm just going to pack loads of that over that blush. Such a magical highlight. And I'm just going to buff back over the top with the brush that we use for the blush, just to kind of blend the two together. So what I'm going to do on the eye look then is I'm going to take this shadow stick and I'm also going to take a couple of shades from the palette and we're going to try and recreate the pattern of the Cheshire Cat but on my eyes. Stay with me, it might work, it might not, I have no idea, that's the fun of this. But we're going to use Taking Flowers, this one, to set it, because the pencil's quite emollient. I don't think it's going to set down, don't want it travelling about, so I think that will work. And then for like his stripes, we're going to use That's Logic. So those are the two mattes we're going to use. And then so that we can get the shine from his eyes there, we're going to use this yellow creme gel liner from Colourpop in the shade Punch. So before we start though, I'm going to go in with a white base because I want everything to pop to its full potential, and we are going to be using some pastels here. So we're going in with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, which is one of my favourites in any case. I'm shearing that out quite a bit because I'm not sure how that shadow stick's going to lay over this. Be interesting to find out. I've watched lots of videos on this collection because I knew I wasn't going to do a review of it, so it didn't matter really. And a lot of people are saying they didn't pick up the shadow sticks, or even if they got them in PR they weren't going to use them because they didn't know what to do with them. And for me, they're one of the most exciting parts of the collection. So it's funny how everyone has a different view on makeup products, but I see everything as just like colours and paint, and what can I kind of create that's a bit different. So I think I'm coming from a different angle with it somehow. So these pencils don't have a sharpened tip when you start, but there is a sharpener in the bottom. That just pops out like that. So we're going to sharpen it to a point because I think we're going to need to be able to do that, to be able to get a bit of precision. And then we're just going to go for it, and we're going to create some shapes and swirls with this pencil. And it doesn't have to be perfect because, as I say, just want to create some swirly kind of effects. Something along those lines. Now I can spend a bit of time kind of perfecting how I want it to look. So now I want to take Taking Flowers and I want to set that pink, as I say, and I'm going to use a very small brush to do that. And it's a case of just tabbing over the lines really. This is not going to be precise, but as I say, I thought if I set it, it won't travel all over the shop. But I thought if I use a colour that's kind of pink, then hopefully it won't change the pink underneath, and it isn't, so it's working alright I think. Just going to do one eye at a time and I'll do the other eye off camera. Okay, so that's the pink down I think. And then in the gaps we've got that we haven't got the pink, we're going to use the That's Logic shade. I'm just literally going to pack that down everywhere that we haven't got the pink. Just colouring in the lines really. It's not quite as pigmented as I was hoping for, but I think it's going to work. Yeah, I'm having to build up the shadow a few layers to get the desired opacity that I'm looking for. But that's okay. Okay, so that's one eye done. I'm going to quickly whiz through the other eye to catch up to this point off camera, and then we'll carry on with the look. Okay, so that's both eyes caught up. Kind of cool I think. So I'm going to do the lower lash line now. I'm going to go into Nothing's Impossible. I just want to kind of get a little bit of depth and intensity on the lower lash line. Don't want the look to run away with itself though, so we're using a very teeny tiny brush. Just to drag that colour along the lower lash. It's one of those mattes with sparkles, but it's not going to matter the way that I'm using it. Going about 2/3 of the way across, I've left this corner open. And then we're going to blend with that Taking Flowers shade, just running that underneath and kind of taking that up a little bit so that we're kind of joining everything together in this outer corner. As an inner corner highlight, I'm going to use Very Merry Unbirthday, so this one here, I love the names in this. I'm just going to pack that into the inner corner here. That's super pretty, it's got a blue reflecting that pink. And then as we move along the lower lash, I want to blend it in with AIOU, which is this one here. I'm just going to take a little bit of that just over that black that we laid down. just to give us a pop of interest on that lower lash line. Okay, so that's the look to this point. Just going to hop off camera to put the punch liner in my waterline, apply some mascara and the lipstick from the Alice set, and I'll be back with you to show you look number 1. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I of course finished it off using the lipstick from the Alice bundle, and I'm not living for it with this look. It's too much of a sort of warm tone pink. We could have done with the cool tone pink for the eye look, but wanted to show you what it looked like on the lips anyway. But the look itself, well, it's curiouser and curiouser, isn't it? And in fact, I think it started raving mad, to be fair. But it was so much fun to do, and I had a blast creating it. So did I fulfill the brief though? So I wanted a Cheshire Cat inspired eye look. And this is the cat. What do you think? Did I fulfill the brief? I think I did. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. It was a blast to do. But we're going to get a bit more sensible with the second look and do something you might actually want to recreate yourself. And we're going to be playing with the blue shade in here called Curiouser and Curiouser, which is matte blue, very similar to the colour of Alice's dress. So I'm excited to play with that one. It's one of those mattes with sparkles, but we'll ignore that. And we're going to play with the greens as well, I think, and the other couple of shadow sticks too, and of course apply the red lipstick, so, and the red blush. So let's jump straight into look number 2. Okay, so on to look number 2. Obviously I want to use the red blush. This is the shade Silence, and I'm really excited to use it. So I'm going to go a little bit gentle first of all though. I'm going to use quite a sort of fluffy brush because I'm not sure how crazy this is going to look. So we're just going to kind of dust it on to start with and see if it's crazy pigmented or not. Well, it's not too bad. It's one of these you can sort of build up. Yeah, it's quite pretty. It's not as in your face red as I was expecting, which is good in a way for red. I always take my blush a little bit higher than like where you'd normally put blush if I think it's going to be a colour that's going to be difficult for me to wear, you know, if it's going to be too dark. So that's the opposite problem to the first blush, like this one's a bit more pigmented than I perhaps might want. I've just got a duo fibre brush here. I'm just going to buff it into the skin a little bit. But it's giving that rosy glow though. For this one I'm going to go in with Colourpop's Flexitarian highlight, which has been a favourite for a long time. It's quite an icy white, but it might look pretty with the blue tones I'm planning to use. Just gonna put that on the high points of my cheeks though, nothing too crazy. Kind of prime with the NYX Jumbo pencil again, so I'll quickly apply that and be back. Okay, so we're all primed and ready for shadows. As I say, I want to make the focus of the crease that Curiouser and Curiouser shade, so we're going to go with that first. I'm just going to pack that all the way through my crease. I want to try and get that to be as pigmented as possible. It's a beautiful colour though. Going in a sort of round motion because I do want to do a bit of a shadow wing with the black, and I always like to go through my shadow kind of out the other side. So if I do a round shape with the eye look, then I can do the wing shapes through it, if that makes any sense at all. You can see the sparkles even on the eye, which didn't really need to see the sparkles. And it's a very powdery shade. It's not the kind of shade I normally wear, but I just thought it was really, really pretty. As I say, it's Alice's dress shade, isn't it, for sure? And I'm packing, kind of stamping and packing this shadow on because I don't want to lose the pigmentation. Make sure it can be seen when my eyes are open. Now I've kind of got enough of it down, I'm just going to blend the edges a little. And I think we'll put a dusting of green around the edges of that. So I'm going to use that Mad Tea Party shade here, the pastel green matte. Just dust that around the edges of the blue. Thing with pastels is you can pretty much go all the way to your brows because they're quite light anyway, so using all the eye space today. Even though those shades were powdery, I haven't really got any fallout, but To say they're light shades anyway, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'm going to go with NYX glitter primer as always all over my lids. And I'm not doing a cut crease really here, just wanted something for the shadows to adhere to. I'm just taking that all over my lid really. So on the lids we're going to go with Start Raving Mad, which is this one here, and then Down the Rabbit Hole, sort of more towards the inner part. That's picking up super nicely on a brush. Oh, that's pretty. Let's sort of take that about 2/3 of the way and angle it down. So go in a diagonal. That's a nice shimmer for me. That's a reflective foiled smooth shimmer. Really, really pretty. Now when we're Down the Rabbit Hole, that's a beautiful duochrome, sort of several different shades really. Got some green, some blue. Thought it would tie the look together really nicely. So I'm just taking that near the front. So we've almost got a cut crease on the front there. And then fading it down into that Start Raving Mad shade. That is super pretty. Not used to doing something quite as pastel as this though. Then for the lower lash line, just because I want to try it, I'm going to go in with the Shadow Stick in Care for Tea. I'm going to pick it up on a pencil brush and then apply it. That's very, very light. It's just going to give that a little bit of a glint on the lower lash line there. For my inner corner I'm going to go in with Full of Wonder, this shadow stick. Just pop that there. That's great for an inner corner. Really pretty. Bring that slightly onto the lower lash line as well, as I like to do. And then I'm going to create a shadow wing with this Nothing's Impossible and a very teeny tiny brush. I don't want it to get too crazy of a wing, so we're not coming out too far. Just a little shadow wing, just to add a little bit of depth in this outer corner. I'm just blending that in onto the lower lash line as well. That shadow stick on the lower lash line just isn't doing it for me, so I'm going to set it with Mad Tea Party. Just stop it moving around a bit and maybe make it just slightly more pigmented. Yeah, I think that actually looks better. Worked well as a base for that green though. Okay, so that's the look to this point. Just kind of hop off camera for something in my waterline, mascara, and to apply the red lip, and I'll be back with you with the finished look number 2. Okay guys, so this is the finished look number 2, and I really like the combination of that mint and powder blue pastel eye look with the red lip. It's like quite striking, isn't it? It's not a combination that I do very often, but the eye look was looking a bit subtle for me, so off camera I did take Down the Rabbit Hole again and just took it a little bit higher. I've come up a little bit higher here, but that's all I've done differently, because your girl doesn't do a subtle eye look, you know that, and it just feels a little bit more me now. In my waterline I've gone in with Prance by Colourpop, and of course the lip is the Luxe lip from the Queen set from this Alice collection. So this was just so much fun to do, and yeah, it's not your typical kind of review kind of thing that everyone's been doing with the Colourpop Alice collection, but it's the sort of thing that I love to do, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing it as well and hanging out with me today. And if you are new to my channel, I hope you might consider subscribing before you go, because we're all mad here, but we'd love to have you. So that's all I've got time for you today though. I'm late for a very important date. So take care of yourselves, hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye guys.